Hi guys, this is Milena, and today I want to talk about the times when somebody has said or done something and we want to tell them to F off. Now here's the breaking part. It's not about the other person, and it's not about what they have said and done. It's about why we feel the way that we feel. What button have they managed to push? But first things first, let's look at a specific example because it's easier to figure out what it is that I'm talking about that way. There's this very successful, gorgeous lady who has several businesses and basically everything going for her. But lately she got super triggered by a woman who told her something to the degree of, "You vacation more than anybody else." And she kind of got angry and triggered, and she wanted to tell this lady to go you know where and do you know what. Now, the other lady is irrelevant, and her comment is irrelevant too. But what would be really beneficial for us to look at in this situation is, why does this trigger me? Why do I get so angry, and why do I want to tell this lady to do you know what? What is a belief that I hold within me about me that is causing that? What is the button that is being pushed? What if I vacation more than anybody else? Does that mean that I don't work hard? And if I don't work hard, what does that tell me about me? That I'm lazy? That I'm not as worthy of a person? And of course, she went into defense and she said, I work harder than anybody else. And even when I go on vacation, I have my phone and my laptop and I constantly exchange emails and I'm on calls. That doesn't matter. We don't need to convince anybody else anything. Like, a normal reaction would be somebody says, "You vacation more than anybody else." And you say, "Yeah, isn't that nice?" So what do we have within us that tells us that that's a bad thing? If you know how not to work extremely hard and kill yourself to the bone and vacation more than anybody else, I want to hang out with you and learn from you. You're doing really, really well. So there is a belief within us that somehow we need to be working extra super hard because otherwise we're not super worthy. And these beliefs we have in ourselves very often are unconscious and subconscious, and that's why we don't get to the realization, wait a minute, I shouldn't be triggered by it. That doesn't mean I'm less of a person in any way. On the contrary, that means that I have the manifestation skills and I know how to work really smart, not work myself to the bone, and still enjoy life and do things that I love. That should be a compliment. So every time we are triggered about what somebody has said or done, it usually points to belief that we hold about ourselves. And we don't need to convince the other person. The only person that needs to be convinced is actually ourselves. But that's simply an opportunity to look at that belief and decide, choose, now I'm aware that I have that belief that I need to work hard. Otherwise, I'm not as worthy of a person as I would be if I was working really, really hard. So, do I want to keep that belief? Does it serve me? Or do I want to just like a cherry from a tree, take it and eat it and spit the bit out? Now we're aware, and now it's our choice. We can keep it if you want to, and we can keep working ourselves to the bone and be really successful and all of that. But the button is simply been pushed to make us aware of it. Let's look at a different situation. I've been told many times, "Oh, you've got curves," or "You've got nice curves," or "You have some meat on you." And of course, I had this big fat button, pun intended, that told me that meant I wasn't good enough. I wasn't attractive, I wasn't beautiful, and I was less of a person. I wasn't as worthy of a person because I had curves. I felt like I was too fat and inadequate. Now, this button is simply there to tell me, would you like to continue associating your own self-worth with your curves or how much you weigh or anything like that? And for many years, I kept it there, and I did think I was a lesser person, and that somehow spoke to me not being enough somehow. But hey, I decided to drop that, and I can tell you I feel 1,000,000 pounds lighter, again, pun intended, because of it. So this is how simple it is. Every time we have such a strong reaction to something that we want to tell somebody to F off, it's because we have a button that is being pushed. And outsourcing it and looking at the person, lashing out on them, saying something or not saying something, but kind of mulling it over in our own head, is wasting our time and energy on the person who pushed the button. When in fact, the thing that can create a shift and lasting change and relief in us and in our experience and our lives is looking at that button, becoming conscious of it, and deciding what we want to do with it. We don't know where all of our buttons are. We're not quite aware of them until somebody pushes them. But when they do, don't look at the other person. Do yourself a favor and don't spend any time on trying to convince them, defend, or teach them anything. Simply look at the button and say, I have now become aware of you. What would I like to do with you? What is a belief that I hold about myself? Would I like to keep it? Or maybe turn it into an easy button or something? Because at the end of the day, you're the boss. You can do whatever you want with it. And if you need more help with discovering your buttons or how to process your reactions or let go of them when you choose to do so, you can book a session at askmilena.com. Subscribe for my newsletter to get interesting little details, plus an ebook that is 7 life hacks to empower your daily life. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you can do so below. And if you click on the bell, you know the drill. You'll get notified of all new videos so that you don't miss any. They usually come out on Friday morning. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye, guys.